Hey folks, Doc C here again. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about something that I'd spoken with you before. It was about, if you remember me saying you don't skimp on your shoes or your bed. If you're not on one, you're on the other. Well, here's another one I wanted to add to that. You also don't want to skimp on your chairs, okay? And one of the reasons there's so many people spending huge amounts of their life sitting in a chair, whether it's a trucker, like my son, or whether it's someone sitting in front of a computer. It's called ergonomics. It's a science now. It used to be just the work, but it's actually a lot of times your workstation, how you're sitting, where your hand is, where your mouse is, all those different things. And you need to really be comfortable. You need to be able to do that because your body will start fatiguing. There's muscles in your body that will fatigue out. I want to give you an example of why it's so important to have a good chair so that it's not tilting one way or the other. Years ago, my family and we would go on trips to see grandparents. I really enjoyed actually going on the trip. I loved my family, plus my in-laws were great people. They're so much fun. And what I'd find is we're driving in this Aerostar van all the way down to almost the border. We're like 20, 30 miles from the border. So that was like 6.5, 7 hours. Well, on the way down, we'd hit Tabor, which was like almost there. And I'd feel my neck start bothering me, right? And then the next trip, it would be 100 miles this side of it. My neck started bothering me. Then it was halfway. Then it was right out here at the river. So I'm thinking, what's going on? So that trip, when I was at the river, I just thought enough is enough. And when I got out to fill up with gas at Hannah, I looked down, I looked at my seat, I started really studying it, and I realized the seat was sitting like this. On the outside, we would always come in, you'd sit on that outside of the chair, you'd pound that foam down. Even the piping was cracked around the outside of the chair on that van. Well, you'd hit that and then you'd slide in. So the chair was like this. Unbeknownst to anyone, you didn't realize it, but when you sat in it, the inside never got hammered. So it was at an angle. Well, then your spine has to compensate. I had a fellow in church. He's sitting in front of me and he couldn't fall asleep because his neck was bothering him. And I'm looking at his shoulders and they're like this. And he keeps playing with his neck. And I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, "What's the matter? You got a neck problem?" And he says, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on." And I says, "You should pull the wallet out of your left back pocket." And he looked at me like I was a voodoo practitioner. He says, "How did you know that?" And I said, "It's a shim. It's raising you up. The rest of your neck has to compensate. So you get a headache from that." And he couldn't believe, he pulled that out, and at the end of the meeting, he said, "Thanks for the advice." Well, you know what? It's little things like that can make a big difference in your life. Now, if you sit on that same chair day after day after day after day, what's it doing in your upper back? What's it doing in your neck? What kind of problems is it causing? A lot of different things can go on when you have those constant little irritations. Remember I talked about how subluxations come from stress? That's a physical chronic stress that's going to keep playing with you, and you're going to be trying to figure out why you have those issues that have just set up house in there. Well, we want to get rid of those, and one of the ways is to level out your foundation, level out your chair, okay? It's really important to be able to pick a good chair. If you're a bigger person like me, I went and got a new chair. I threw the old chair out because it just wasn't sitting correctly. And it's one of the best pieces of advice I can give you is sometimes we put up with a bad bed. Sometimes we put up with chairs. Sometimes we put up with a bad chair. Don't put up with that chair any longer. Throw some of those old nasty things that aren't any good for you out and go get something new. Spend the money. You'll never go wrong. You'll be thanking yourself your spine will thank you for doing it. I just wanted to let you know. Always remember, Santa says this is one of those little pieces of information that's a good hack for anyone, especially heavier folks, because when we sit down on something, we hammer it, right? So we need to have that support, all right? So Santa says, always remember, and if you like this information, please hit the like button. If you want to hear more, hit the subscription button. You have a great day. Take care.